trauma. There's a lot of trauma for all the people that were there. Um, so Hashem should really give them, in honor of our learning today, Hashem should give them complete.
Oh, look at the top.
Oh, oh yeah,
Like they're also in honor. Mhm.
in honor, yeah, yeah. So we're studying in honor of the Bondi Jews. Um, let's read this summary of the Parsha. It's Miketz. Miketz means at the end. So let's see. Margarita, you want to read
Okay,
the
sure.
summary? Okay.
Okay, Joseph's imprisonment finally ends when Pharaoh dreams of 7 fat cows that are swallowed up by 7 lean cows, and of 7 fat ears of grain swallowed by 7 lean ears. Joseph interprets the dreams to mean that 7 years of plenty will be followed by 7 years of hunger, and advises Pharaoh to store grain during the plentiful years. Pharaoh appoints Joseph governor of Egypt. Joseph marries Asenath, daughter of Potiphar, and they have 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Famine spreads throughout the region, and food can be obtained only in Egypt. 10 of Joseph's brothers come to Egypt to purchase grain. The youngest, Benjamin, stays home, for Jacob fears for his safety. Joseph recognizes his brothers, but they do not recognize him. He accuses them of being spies, insists that they bring Benjamin to prove that they are who they say they are, and imprisons Simeon as a hostage. He imprisons his own brother. Wow.
Yeah.
Later, they discover
It's
that
the
the
whole
money they
setup.
paid. Okay. They discover that the money they paid for their provisions has been mysteriously returned to them. Jacob agrees to send Benjamin only after Judah assumes personal and eternal. Can you scroll up, please?
Yeah.
Jacob agrees to send Benjamin only after Judah assumes personal and eternal responsibility for him. This time, Joseph receives them kindly, releases Simeon, and invites them to an eventful dinner at his home. But then he plants his silver goblet, purportedly imbued with magic powers, in Benjamin's sack. When the brothers set out for home the next morning, they are pursued, searched, and arrested when the goblet is discovered. Joseph offers to set them free and retain only Benjamin as his slave.
Yeah.
More drama.
Yeah, so more drama. The stories of Joseph in the Parsha are like they end with like cliffhangers. They're like the most intense dramas you have. If you think it was intense before this, it gets even more intense. It's like literally like reading like a novel. Um, so we started off with um Joseph's last time we ended off with Joseph was in prison with the butler and the baker and their dreams, and now the lesson we learned from last week was about Joseph looking out for other people even though he was in a dark place. And something that I also heard about Joseph in general is like anywhere he was, he became the best at. Like he was the best slave in in Potiphar's house. He was the best prisoner in prison, and he actually became like a what's it called, like a warden. Yeah, so like there he was like promoted in every like situation he was in. He really made the best of it, and he succeeded and tried to be the best at it. So um and then he ended up being the second in command of all of Egypt. So he really just was a really successful guy all around, um, and tried to make the best of every situation he was in. So we um, start off this parsha with Pharaoh having these dreams, and Joseph is summoned to interpret them. And he has all these people like saying Pharaoh is very confused about these dreams, and he has all these people trying to interpret them for him, and he's not satisfied with any of the answers. And so the butler remembers Joseph. And by the way, 2 years pass in between the butler and the butler leaving prison and the butler remembering Joseph. Because when the butler was on his way out of prison, he said, "Don't forget about me, remember me, tell Pharaoh about me." Joseph told this to the butler. And because he kind of like placed his trust in the butler to help him get out, Hashem was like, "Sorry, he's not going to remember you for another 2 years." And that's actually a lesson for us in like placing our trust in people versus in Hashem. And of course, Joseph was a tzaddik, a really righteous person, and that's why Hashem was very like stringent with him in this situation. Um, like tzaddikim are judged more intensely than regular people. Um, but for us, whenever we have this opportunity to we feel like we're relying on someone or something to get something done or to do something for us. We have to always remember that they're just messengers of Hashem, and Hashem is the one who is orchestrating things, and they are just a messenger of Hashem. And so Hashem is the one who's really taking care of it, and we can't totally rely and place our trust in people. Um, so that's a lesson for that. And basically, Joseph gives this great advice. He said that there's 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine, and they save up all the food and basically save the whole world from this famine because they start selling all the stuff they put in storage, all the food they put in storage. And that's what brings his brothers down to Egypt. So there's an interesting question that I never even thought of, but like, why didn't Joseph ever contact his father and his family after getting to Egypt? Like, he could have sent a message and say like, "I'm fine, I'm alive, I'm just a slave. Like, if you want to ransom me, come save me." Like, he had no contact with them at all. And he knew his father was probably very, very upset because he went through so much and he was his favorite son, and like he was he was going through a lot of pain. So there's a bunch of answers that people give for this question, and um here are some of them. Um, One Nachmanides says that Joseph was following the dreams he had, that he had dreamt back in the land of Canaan, the land of Israel, which prophesied how his reunion with his family must unfold, which was like the brothers bowing to him. Um, Another answer is there was an oath that the brothers took when they sold Joseph, and Joseph was also bound to that oath. Another answer is that Joseph was realizing that Hashem was withholding the knowledge of what happened to him from Jacob and didn't want to intervene. Another answer is this was an attempt on the part of Joseph to help his brothers atone for their sin of selling him as a slave. And there's more ideas, but basically the one of the really interesting answers is that if he would have messaged his father, he would have basically gotten his brothers in a lot of trouble because he would be basically tattletaling in a way, and like it would have divided his whole family, and it would have caused a lot of stress on the whole family. And right now, it was like all the brothers were in one camp, pretty much, right? They were like united, and it was them against Joseph, and Joseph was now out of the picture. So in a way, if he would have replied, like reached out, he would have really split the brothers and caused a lot of um, disunity. What's the word for disunity?
It makes sense to me how you said that. I
Okay.
know it's not a word, but I get it.
Okay. Um, and he really wanted them to have a chance to basically he wanted to mend his relationship with his brothers before he met his father and reached out to his father. So this was, I mean, just imagine like this is a huge sacrifice to want to make peace with your brothers who did this to you so that you don't cause, divisiveness or divisiveness in your family. Um, so for 22 years, he did not reach out to his father at all. And he was waiting for his brothers to come to Egypt. And this only unfolded because of the famine that happened, and they had to come to get food. So that's how they end up in Egypt. And he has this whole like setup that he does with he accuses them of being spies and gets Shimon as a hostage and accuses falsely accuses Benjamin of stealing his goblet. And there's like this whole setup. And um, basically it's all a way for him to kind of test the brothers' loyalty to each other. Um, and he wants to see if they really like fix their ways um, compared to when they sold him as a slave and did all those bad things to him. And he wants to see if they would repeat their same mistakes or did they learn from their mistakes and are they going to stand up for their brothers and how far will they go to stand up for their brothers? And it's kind of a whole test. And that eventually brings the next Parsha we'll see the reunion, which is super dramatic and super emotionally charged. But for now, the brothers still don't know that Joseph is Joseph, and he's just this king in Egypt, and they have no idea who he is, and he's behaving really strangely. Um, and it ends with the
The chalice.
the goblet, right?
In this like Holy Scriptures book that I have that's
Mm-hmm.
illustrated, it has like every so often there are etchings, and I think this is related to now. Do you see this? Here's the Pharaoh, and there's Joseph, and it says, and Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Is that now?
Yeah. Yeah, that was by the interpreting of the of Pharaoh's dreams.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool
Really good
picture.
illustration. Yeah, like the walls have Egyptian things on it. Oh, this is probably next week, right? And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph, doth my father yet live?
Oh wow.
It's next week, right?
Yeah, maybe send me pictures of those so I can see them bigger.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
cool. I would love to see those. Um, so there's some interesting, oh gosh, some interesting midrashes from this parsha. Um, there's the Joseph's wife was there's two opinions of who she was. It says he because he married Usnat. It says Usnat right here. And it says the daughter of Potiphar. So isn't that strange that he would marry the daughter of his master who accused him and put him in jail and like he had this whole drama with him and with like Potiphar was actually whatever, it's pretty graphic, but I can tell you
There's so
more.
much.
I could tell you more crazy things, but basically Potiphar had originally like gotten Joseph as a slave because he desired to be with Joseph himself. And and an angel castrated Potiphar because of that. And then but Joseph was so beautiful and very attractive and like he attracted men and women. And he and so Potiphar's wife also wanted him and she drove him crazy to be with her. And he never succumbed. Um so there's actually like a it says that like there was one time where like the last straw and Joseph was like, I just can't anymore. This is crazy. She's driving me insane. And he was like about to succumb. And then it says he envisioned his father's face. and he said, I can't. Like, I'm the son of Jacob. This is not for me. I'm better than that. And like he remembered, so that's like a powerful idea. Like, when you're in like a hard position to remember, like have something or someone that you could think of or remember, or like,
The North Star.
yeah, exactly.
Why are there so many Jews marrying Egyptians and like enslavers?
In the Parsha.
Like, yeah, throughout, like this has been happening like since Lot, I feel. I'm
Um,
just curious, like I wasn't expecting it, that's all.
yeah, so I mean, Egyptians, yeah, there was, I guess like unless I don't know. So this woman Asna is interesting because it says some people say she was the actual daughter of Potiphar, and some people say she was the daughter of Dinah, who was Joseph's sister, and Potiphar's wife adopted her because do you remember the story with Shechem? With I mean when Dinah was abducted and raped?
Yes.
So they say that they had Shechem and Dinah had this
Oh,
daughter, Asna. And
this is like when they went and like castrated and then killed after.
yeah,
That was Dina. So
yeah,
it's her, like, it's like a child of rape or it's a child
exactly.
of,
Yeah.
wow,
Wait,
So
I don't know that story.
so
hardcore.
it was a few parshas ago when Jacob had left the house of Lavan, where he was for many years, and he married his two wives, Leah and Rachel, or four, Bilhah and Zilpah. Anyway, um, other on his travels on his way back to the land of Israel, Shechem is modern day Shechem. There's a city Shechem in Israel, um, and there was a city Shechem, and there was the prince of that city. His name was Shechem as well, and he basically abducted Dinah, who was one of Jacob's only daughter, the only daughter we hear about in the actual Torah, Leah's daughter, and she basically was taken to his house and she was raped and the brothers got so upset and they want to take revenge. So two of Dina's brothers basically convinced the whole city to have Brit Milahs and then they killed all the men in the whole city because of this. Um so that was what happened. And here I'll read to you like one of the midrashim about about Asnat, which is she's a very mysterious figure. She was the mother of Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim and Manasseh are Joseph's sons, who we when families bless their kids um some people have a custom of blessing their kids every Friday night. Some people have a custom of blessing them only once a year on Erev Yom Kippur. But there's a for girls and one for boys. For girls, we say you should grow up to be like Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, the four mothers. And for the boys, we say you should grow up to be like Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim and Manasseh were Joseph's sons. We don't say to be like the forefathers. We say to be like Ephraim and Manasseh. Why? Because a few reasons. One, because they were the first set of brothers that we hear in the Torah that were really, truly peaceful with each other. They had good relationship with each other. And another reason is because they grew up in Egypt, but they were strong, proud Jews. It's like going to the South Bronx and seeing kids with yarmulke and tzitzis. That's, like that's the that's how they were raised. So their mother, Asnat, gets a lot of credit for that. Um, for raising her kids to be like, kids that are proud Jews and look like Jews and act like Jews and are recognizable and that no matter where you grow up, that's you still have the capacity and power and potential to be openly proud Jews and have a good Jewish education and it's up to the parents. So um I'll read you this thing about Asna. It says Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, was modest and did not venture outdoors. What did Shechem, the son of Hamor, do? He brought music playing girls to play on their tambourines outside her tent. Dinah went out to see the playing girls, and Shechem abducted her and lay with her. She became pregnant and gave birth to Asnat. Jacob's sons wanted to kill Asnat, lest it be said throughout the land that there's harlotry in the tents of Jacob. What did Jacob do? He took an amulet, a gold amulet, and inscribed the holy name of God on it, hung it around Asnat's neck, and sent her off. She
Mm.
wandered in the desert and hid herself amongst the thorn bushes. God sent the angel Michael, who brought Asnat down to Egypt to the house of Potiphar, because Asnat was destined for Joseph. Potiphar's wife was barren and raised Asnat as her daughter, and when Joseph came down to Egypt, he married her.
Wow.
How crazy is that? And then it says, when Joseph was appointed viceroy by Paro and rode through the land of Egypt, all the women went out to see his beauty. As it's written, the daughters strode upon the wall, and each threw a piece of jewelry at him. Asnat threw the amulet that was on her neck. When Joseph examined it, he knew that she was a descendant of Jacob, and he married her. So, um, that's who Asnat is. And she was basically his niece. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, craziness. It sounds like this angel Michael is really busy, actually. He's like always sent to do these crazy
Oh,
missions.
that's the first time I heard his name because I have a sibling named Michael and a sibling named Michaela. So I'm like, oh, I didn't realize they were Jewish names. Like,
Yeah, there's Angel Michael and Angel Gabriel, and Angel Raphael.
oh,
Those are three angels that we hear like a lot. Like they have these missions a lot. But it like Angel, um, yeah, one is like more of a compassionate, like one is represents like more chesed, one represents more gevura. um
cool.
yeah, Raphael is the healing one. Yeah, any questions or thoughts about the
Just confirming, you said it was his niece. And how are they related once more? Just like I got the story. Just how are they related?
Joseph and Asnat?
Yeah.
So Joseph was Dinah's sister,
Brother, uh-huh.
I mean, sorry, brother. and Dina's daughter was Asnat, so it was Joseph's sister's daughter. But
And they have a
it
bunch
was
of
a
other
half
brothers.
sister because they didn't have the same mother. They had the same father. So, because Jacob had four wives, two like main wives, and then two, I guess you call them like concubines or whatever. It was like the maidservant of their wives. So they had, so Jacob had 12 Shvatim, 12 tribes, and Dinah, this daughter. We don't hear of like any other daughters, but some other midrashim say that each son was born with a twin sister. Um, but yeah, so Dinah was Leah's daughter, and Joseph was Rachel's son, and Asnat is supposedly Dinah's daughter. So it's like his half sister's daughter. Yeah. So next week we will is like the showdown. It's when the brothers start standing up for their brothers to Joseph, and it's very intense, and it represents a lot, like spiritually, like the brothers standing up to Joseph and trying to defend their brothers. Um, and we'll discuss that next week in the next Parsha, God willing.
And so in the Chabad app, where it has like the I forgot the word, study with, and I forgot who. You know what I'm talking about? It's the first option. They have like parts of the Parsha every day. Do people
Yeah.
read like part of the chapter every day?
Yeah. So
Not just all on like Shabbat.
yeah, so most Chabad people, I mean, it's a Chabad custom for for people to, which is universal. Really, the Rebbe encouraged everyone to do it.
Mhm.
Is to learn every day a little bit of the Parsha, a little bit of Tanya,
Mhm.
and say some Tehillim. It's called Chitas. So there's, which stands for Chumash,
Mhm.
Tehillim, and Tanya. And that it's a very powerful study uh like regimen or whatever it's called, like a study schedule.
Mhm.
It has very like it brings really a lot of blessings to the person who studies like a little bit of each of these every day.
Mhm.
A lot of times when the Rebbe would like answer people's in the letters that Rebbe would answer people's problems or questions to, he would say like, "Are you studying the Chitas?" This brings a lot of blessing. So. And it also actually translates as fear. So the Rabbi would say that it brings fear to our enemies when we study Chitas. Um, and so that's, yeah, so there's just like there's seven aliyahs for each day of the week. We have people will study the first aliyah on Sunday, second aliyah on Monday,
Okay.
and that's what
That's an aliyah.
yeah, that's what the study schedule is.
And I noticed on the app they have like a mitzvah, but it's an audio thing.
Oh, the Sefer HaMitzvot.
Like
Um,
the mitzvah of the day. So
yeah, the
today they
mitzvah.
were like, you need to let your workers eat while they're at work. I'm like, oh, I love that this is like a rule. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
start listening to
Yeah,
those
so
too.
that's actually the Rambam. That's Maimonides came up with a whole, if you want to learn the whole Torah, you could, and all the laws, you could basically read the Rambam. The Rambam has, there's an expanded version, which is Mishnah Torah, and there's a condensed version, which is Sefer HaMitzvot, which is basically a list of all the mitzvot, um, with the sources that they come from in the Torah. It gives the quote
Mhm.
of source. And he has, there's 613 of them, and it's divided in a whole year's worth of study. So you finish the whole Sefer HaMitzvot in 1 year. Um, and that's what the daily mitzvah is. That's also a super special thing to learn, and that the Rebbe strongly encouraged to learn Rambam. He said that it, like, it basically, imagine like the hundreds of thousands of people learning Rambam around the world at the same time. It's a unifying study experience, and it's also very special to learn. It's you can basically learn Rambam, and like it says, you could know the whole Torah from just learning Rambam. Rambam was Maimonides.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he's a pretty cool
Well,
guy.
a little at a time. I like that like Rebbe acknowledged that works.
Yeah. Yeah, well, every day is a new day, and honestly, we need that like boost. We really need a boost, a daily boost.
Yeah.
Every day comes
Like
with its
personally and in the world.
yeah, and every day comes with its own like struggles and its own like the daily grind, and it's easy to just forget and like lose focus, and this daily study is just like the best compass to
Yeah.
to have, and it really grounds us, and it reminds us like what we're here for and our purpose, and it's just really it's the best thing you could do for yourself. Okay, thank you guys for coming
Right.
on today.
Thank you
Last
too.
minute.
Love this.
Have
Thank you
a
so
happy
much.
Hanukkah, and hope you guys have a joyous Hanukkah and a light-filled Hanukkah, and make your way to a menorah lighting or something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lador, will you come on Thursday? Or are
Uh,
you out of town?
no, I won't be able to because I won't be able to this time, unfortunately.
Oh,
Um,
selfie.
mhm. But
Right.
I hope you have a good time, and yeah, I hope you have a
Happy
good time.
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Bye, Lador. Bye,
Bye.
Margarita. See you guys soon.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye.